Sean Payton will likely be back in the NFL next season as a head coach, but where? That remains to be seen. Let us know in the comments where you think Sean Payton will end up next as a head coach. But before we get into it, shoot us a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But man, I'll toss it up to you, man. Where do you envision Sean Payton continuing his head coaching career next season?
I think he's going to go somewhere, obviously, where they have a bit of a foundation. I don't think he wants to do a full rebuild.
Right.
And where they might have a good quarterback that he can take over.
That would help.
And create that whole new Drew Brees-him relationship.
Sure.
And hopefully they'll be able to trade for Taysom Hill because I'm sure that'll be one of the contributing factors.
Probably
as to
be in
where
his
he
contract
goes.
when he
I
signs,
think
I
it
would
will
think.
be, honestly. Like, they'll just have to bring Taysom in. But I think the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert is as much trouble as the Chargers have had getting over that hump that even I've said that I think they can reach, but they have not yet. It's still a talented team. I think Herbert needs a new voice, and Sean Payton would be great to build him up.
Yeah.
The biggest issue they have, obviously, is still injuries.
Right.
But Herbert with Payton is an exciting situation,
Sure
and
is.
Sean Payton could really breathe some fresh life into a franchise that is desperately trying to find a foothold and a stronghold. So I think Sean Payton to the Chargers makes a lot of sense, and that would be the turning point in Herbert's career.
I'm not at the point yet with the Chargers where I think Brandon Staley needs to be removed or relieved, rather, of his duties as head coach. I know he hasn't been perfect. They've yet to make the playoffs under his reign. I think that might change this year. But again, you mentioned the biggest reason why. Even at 5-3, the Chargers are a bit underwhelming this season because of those injuries. You can't really chalk that up to Staley. And I know the biggest reason you're not a huge fan is the fourth quarter decisions, the fourth down decisions, and that hasn't been a huge problem this season through 8 games.
I'll say this, though. At the same time, yes, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but this isn't just any coach. This is Sean Payton. This is a guy that is one of the upper echelons, I think, of coaching. I think you do, if he is interested, I think it's worth at least looking into.
I agree. If he's interested in the Chargers, because we know Sean Payton's going to be picky about where he wants to coach next. Yeah. If he's interested in the Chargers, and that's the reporting, you would have to kick the tires on that, even if you are somewhat happy with Brandon Staley. But I'm actually going to go with a different team in that AFC West division, and that's the Denver Broncos. We know that Nathaniel Hackett is not an NFL head coach.
Nope.
He's proven that through about 8 or 9 weeks or so, and I think maybe if the Broncos lost in London before their bye week to the Jaguars, Nathaniel Hackett might already be out of a job.
Yeah, he might be.
With that being said, I think Sean Payton would be the perfect head coach fit in Denver with the Broncos. You mentioned that he would likely want a quarterback. Russell Wilson's a pretty good one, even though he hasn't shown it much this season.
I was going to say,
but I would attribute plenty of that to Nathaniel Hackett and somebody who is clearly in over his head, who's supposed to come in as an offensive mind. And that offensive mind has resulted in an offense in the Denver Broncos offense that is 30th in points scored per game. 30th. Yeah. Only 2 worst teams in the NFL, 15 points per game. That's absolutely unacceptable for somebody who's supposed to be an offensive-minded coach. Again, that's with Russell Wilson, the former Super Bowl champion at quarterback. That's with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy at receiver.
Yeah, they're not cooking.
Other weapons, obviously lost to Javonte Williams-Hurts, but again, this offense has been absolutely atrocious.
Yep.
I can't imagine an offense with Sean Payton running the show being this anemic. So I think that's the move. And again, the Denver Broncos, they traded away Bradley Chubb, but they kept on. They held on to Jerry Jeudy, who was reportedly in trade talks, but the reporting was that they wanted to hold on to him so they can keep some semblance of an offense. Now that you still have weapons, quarterback, I think Payton's the guy.
Here's the thing, though, is I don't know if he's going to want to go into a dysfunctional system. He wants to go into a place that actually is kind of on the rise. Yes, some of those weapons are impressive, but what Denver has shown is awful. And here's the other thing. They don't have their first-round picks. Like, you're working, as much as Denver looks enticing, you're also coming from so far behind. You don't have your first-round picks because of the trade to Seattle.
But you have
not only that, but
who's under contract through 228.
You have him under a massive contract, so that's going to affect your ability to sign guys in free agency.
Sure.
And the other thing is that you're now really banking on the idea that you can get Russell Wilson back to what he was under Pete Carroll, because obviously Wilson needs some sort of help and guidance, because right now it's looking like Pete Carroll won that decision all day, and you have to start asking, like, how much of it was the decision by Pete Carroll and the coaching staff to play Russ the way that they played him in Seattle.
You also have to start asking how much of Russell Wilson's poor performance this season is due to Nathaniel Hackett. That's a question that needs to be asked.
I mean, there's a lot of video evidence that shows like he's just missing dudes. Like he's not seeing the field the same way that he has in the past.
That's fair. I mean, obviously his performance speaks for itself, but again, we've seen quarterbacks struggle under certain head coaches in certain offenses, go to another head coach, a different system, and be great and be the best version of themselves. And again, we've seen Russell Wilson just as recent as last season.
Yeah, and we've also saw
good.
that from Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Saw what?
These quarterbacks do well. Rodgers was an MVP last year, and look at what he's doing now. And that's having the same coach. Wilson, what's to say that those three guys just haven't hit their cliff? And why would Sean Payton want to, if he's getting back into coaching, why would he want to invest in a quarterback that might be past his prime, or you have to try and like build back up?
I get that.
Rather than a rising up and comer.
I get that. It's risky. It's risky. Let us know in the comments where you think Sean Payton should and will end up. But shoot us a like, shoot us a comment, make sure you subscribe for daily sports content from us. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos and don't forget to smack that subscribe button down below while you're at it. Also, for more great and original content, head right over to bvmsports.com.